Good morning, Internet. This is the old fat dad, and welcome back to another beautiful day on the Goober Nation gun range. Today we're going to take a look at some very hot 22 ammo out of a very short little barrel. So let's head on down and get started. And here is that tiny little barrel I was telling you about. It is attached to my Heritage Rough Rider, which used to be unique and special, but Heritage went ahead and ruined all that for me because now they have that bar keep that they make right from the factory, and it's basically the same thing. So, oh well. And the ammo we're testing out of our little snubby-nosed revolver is going to be Aguila Interceptor, Winchester PowerPoint Max, CCI's Velocitor, and finally CCI Stinger. These four different types of 22 ammo are right at the top of the food chain for what we can expect as far as power out of a 22 LR. And what I'm going to test today is there any difference between these four when you shoot them out of such a tiny barrel? We'll be using our ballistic modeling clay to evaluate these four different ammo's effectiveness. We'll compare them side by side and we'll see what we get. I'm going to start with the Aguila Interceptor. And we're going to be shooting at essentially point blank because I don't trust my aim with this little Rough Rider, and that's about the best I could do to guarantee hits. I got two loaded up in here. Let's take our two shots and we'll see how they do. Well, we threw a ton of gunpowder. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it blackened the face of the clay. And you see some pretty good impacts there. I'm going to cut it open and we'll see what kind of damage we got on the inside. Alright, as you can see, we've got our two tracks right there. Some good expansion up front out of both of them. And it goes in probably about, oh, I don't know, maybe 6 inches there. And let's see if I can get a good shot. There we go. So there's that big expansion, tapers down pretty quick, and the actual bullet is gonna be right there at the end of that tip of that knife. I'm gonna pull those two out for you. We'll take a look at them and see what kind of expansion we got. And here's our two little bullets there, and as you can see, they did expand just a smidge there. There's no actual hollow point on the Aguila Interceptor, but it does have kind of like a flat face and I think a softer lead. So it usually expands pretty well out of a rifle or a longer pistol length. So it's good to see we got a little bit of expansion of our tiny little barrel. Alrighty, we got the block reset there. Well, reset, there it is. And we've got our Winchester PowerPoint 42 Max. We're gonna load it up in the old Rough Rider and we'll see how it does. And here we go. Well, right away I can see that there's not as much gunpowder thrown up against the clay block's face. So I'm interested to see how this Winchester does compared to the Aguila we just shot. Let's go take a look at it. And here is the Winchester PowerPoint, and this track right here is about the same distance as the Aguila Interceptor. This one is just a smidge shorter, but we can see the bullets right there and right in there have expanded much more than the Aguila Interceptor. Although I would say that these tracks, especially the expansion up front, don't look to be quite as large as the Aguila Interceptor, which is interesting seeing as we got a good bit more expansion. Let's take a look at those bullets and let's see what kind of expansion we did actually get. And I would say that expansion is pretty darn good, especially for such a short barrel. Not as good as out of the rifle or the 4-inch pistol, but I guess that's to be expected. Amazing that we got that much though. I think that is very impressive. So Winchester PowerPoint, definitely the leader in expansion so far. Moving on to our third test, we've got the CCI Velocitor. She's all loaded up, got the block down there. Let's take our two shots. We'll see how the old Velocitor does. Here we go. Wow. Very smoky. So, more like the Aguila here, I can see a lot of gunpowder, a lot of black stuff thrown on the face of that block. Damage looks about the same. Let's cut it open and we're going to see what the inside looks like. Well, the Velocitor did really well. Here is one track right here, and there's that bullet. And here's the bottom track, and there's that bullet. And this is probably about 7 to 8 inches up there, and 6 to 7 down there. So the deepest penetration so far. And you can't really see the expansion here because I cut it kind of weird, but you can see it a little bit better here. Both those bullets did a good bit of damage up front. Actually, I think probably the best as far as expansion, initial expansion out of the batch yet. So I would say the Velocitors looks like they're taking the lead so far. Let's dig those bullets out and take a look. Our Velocitor bullets are expanded very nicely, almost ideally I'd say for a 22, and that's really impressive from this short barrel test. But we got definitely got good expansion out of both of them. Maybe not as much as out of the Winchester, but these look really good. And I've saved the most legendary ammo for last. This is the CCI Stinger, everybody's favorite, and definitely in the running for the most powerful 22 ammo out there. I actually have one more kind of ammo, kind of a surprise ammo I want to test after this. So we'll do the CCI Stinger, we'll check it out, and then I've got the surprise ammo. So here we go, CCI Stinger. Ooh. Okay, that is definitely the most damage I've seen from the outside. Let's take a look at the inside. We've got some very interesting results with the CCI Stinger. So here is the entirety of the damage there. We've got really big expansion up front on both these guys, and there's our 2 bullets. So that's only about 4 inches of penetration. So by far the least amount of penetration. Looks like we got good expansion out of our 2 little bullets. And I don't know if you guys can see in there, I'm going to try and get it to focus in there. There's a bunch of unburnt gunpowder sitting next to both of these bullets. So we definitely didn't get the full amount of burn out of those Stingers, and didn't get very much penetration either. Let's take a look at those bullets. Here are our 2 little Stinger bullets, and we got really good expansion out of both of them. These actually expanded really, really well. So we get a good initial hit, good expansion, but very poor penetration with these Stingers. Let's move on to that final secret ammo. So here is our CCI Stinger. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. And here is the secret bullet we're going to be shooting. Can you guys see the difference there? That's right, I've swapped out the cylinder on the old Heritage Rough Rider, and now we got the 22 mag cylinder in there. And the ammo I'm going to be shooting is Hornady Critical Defense. Now, this is supposedly designed for a little short barrel pistol, so let's see how it does compared to our hot 22s. Okay, initial impressions is that it doesn't look a whole lot different than the other ammo we've shot so far today. Let's open her up and take a look. Well, it looks like the 22 mag did a pretty darn good job. We have the longest tracks out of all the ammo so far, so I think it beat the 22 at least by an inch through this clay block. And from what I can see, we did get expansion out of both those bullets. The initial damage is actually, I'd have to say it's on par with the, well, with pretty much everything else. The Stinger did more damage than these, definitely, but it went, you know, a lot less further. Anyhow, let's take a look at those bullets. Let me dig them out real quick. Now, the 22 mag bullet is actually a copper jacketed bullet as opposed to just the plated 22s. So as you can see here, they've got a little bit of that jacket shedded throughout the little tracks we had here. And the actual bullets aren't expanded a huge amount. They're not terrible either. But I think we got better expansion out of pretty much every single bullet besides the Aguila Interceptor on the 22 side. So some pretty interesting results, you know, compared to the 22. I just wanted to throw that in there so we had a point of comparison. I know that 22 mag is also a popular rimfire round to shoot out of those tiny little snub-nosed revolvers. Well, I think we got some pretty interesting results out of our little test there. I'm going to go ahead and post a couple of pictures of all the ammo and the bullets that we shot next to them for you to take a look at. And you guys go ahead and form your own opinions. I'm not going to try and sully your pretty little minds with what I think too much. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on the matter. Put it in the comments down below. Okay, I said I wasn't going to give my opinion, but I'm going to give my opinion. The CCI Velocitor, I think, is easily the best out of the bunch, and I think it even rivals the 22 mag. They were awfully close, which is something I'm actually surprised to be hearing myself say, because I haven't always been a fan of the CCI Velocitor. This batch that I recently got, though, is from newer production. Now, this is stuff that was just made, and I think CCI might have spiced it up a little bit. Anyhow, that's all I got for you for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.